There's a secret that only 1% of people know. A secret so powerful, it can make someone completely change their mind and still leave the conversation thinking the decision was entirely theirs. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's understanding how the human mind works when making decisions. And today I'm going to reveal exactly how this works. I'm not talking about cheap tricks or manipulation tips you find anywhere. I'm talking about real behavioral science applied to the art of influencing people genuinely and respectfully. By the end of this video, you'll master 4 psychological principles that work with anyone, in any situation. From convincing a friend to watch that movie you love, to closing an important deal. So pay attention, because what you're about to learn can completely change how you communicate with the world. Let's start with the first principle, and this one is fundamental. Imagine a person's mind is like a protected fortress. When you arrive with a new idea, with a different proposal, the mental guards go on maximum alert. The defenses go up. The person naturally becomes resistant. But what if you could pass by those guards without triggering any alarm? What if you could make the gates open naturally? This is possible through what I call strategic validation. It works like this. Before trying to convince anyone of anything, you first demonstrate that you genuinely understand that person's perspective. You validate what they feel, what they think, what they value. Let me give you a practical example that's probably happened to you. Imagine you want to go out for dinner, but the person you live with prefers to stay home. If you simply say, "Let's go out, it's more practical and we don't have to cook," you'll meet resistance. Why? Because you're attacking their preference. But what if you did it differently? Look, I know how much you value these moments we have here at home. Peaceful, just the two of us. It's really special when we get this time without distractions. I was thinking it would be nice to go out today precisely to have an even more focused conversation, enjoy each other's company without the worries of home. See the difference? You're not rejecting the value the person gives to staying home. You're building your proposal on top of that same value. This technique works because it satisfies a fundamental human need: to be understood. When you demonstrate that you truly understand the other person, mental defenses automatically lower. The formula is simple. Identify what the person values, genuinely validate that value, and present your idea as a natural extension of it. Now let's go to the second principle, and this one is fascinating. The human brain has a very interesting characteristic. It makes decisions in seconds based on emotion, but takes hours trying to logically justify those decisions. This means that when you want to convince someone, bombarding the person with logical arguments isn't the most effective strategy. What really works is creating the right emotional state first. Let me tell you how I used this to convince a friend to start training with me. This friend hated the gym, thought it was a waste of time, waste of money, saw no point. If I arrived talking about health, muscles, scientific benefits, he would simply ignore me. So I did differently. I started by telling him how I felt after a few weeks of training. Man, it's not even about getting strong. What impressed me most was how I wake up more energized, sleep better, and especially how I feel more confident at work. It seems like I have more mental clarity to solve problems. While talking, I observed his body language. When I mentioned confidence and mental clarity, he leaned slightly forward. Sign of interest, then I closed. Don't you want to at least try it to see how you feel? We can start Monday, just half an hour. It worked because I didn't try to convince him that training was good. I created in him the feeling of curiosity about what it would be like to have more energy and confidence. This technique has 3 steps. First, define what emotion the person needs to feel to say yes. Second, tell a story that awakens exactly that emotion. Third, make your proposal at the moment when the emotion is most intense. Third principle, and this one is powerful. There's a paradox in the human mind. The more options we offer, the harder it becomes to decide. But when we offer few, well-structured options, the person feels in total control of the decision. I'm going to teach you to do something impressive. Make the person feel they're in control, even when all options lead to the result you want. Imagine you have a nephew who hates studying math. If you arrive telling him you need to study math, it's guaranteed war. But if you give him several options on how to study, he gets confused and probably chooses nothing. Now imagine you say this: do you prefer to study math half an hour after lunch watching YouTube videos? Or do you prefer an hour at night with me helping you with exercises? See what happened? He's not choosing whether to study, he's choosing how to study. His mind focuses on logistics, not on resistance. Let's say he chooses YouTube videos. From that moment on, studying math becomes his decision. And people always execute their own decisions better. The structure of this technique has 4 elements. Offer 2 options. Both must meet your main objective. The differences between them are only secondary details. And let the person decide without pressure. Another example, you want to close a sale. Instead of asking, "Do you want to buy?" which has a yes or no answer, you ask, "Do you prefer to start with cash payment with discount or finance with no interest?" The power of this is in what happens in the brain. When we make a choice, we release dopamine, the pleasure neurotransmitter. The person associates your proposal with a positive feeling. 4th and final principle. And this solves the biggest problem in persuasion. You can do everything right, the person can agree with you, see the logic, feel the emotion, but still not act. This happens because the human mind loves to postpone decisions. The solution? Create a genuine reason to act within a specific time frame. I'm not talking about artificial pressure or aggressive tactics. I'm talking about presenting a real benefit that expires on a concrete date, connected with genuine external factors. Example: the supplier confirmed this special price only until Friday, which is when the quarter closes. Or, this course class opens only twice a year. The next one is only in September. These are real factors, not invented. This transforms an abstract decision into a concrete opportunity with an expiration date, activating the sense of urgency without generating negative pressure. Now I'm going to put everything together in a formula that works in any situation. First, validation. Second, emotional state. Third, directed choice. Fourth, genuine deadline. Let me show you this with a complete example. You want to convince your parents to lend you the car for a weekend trip. Validation. Dad, I've always admired how well you take care of the car and keep it spotless. That responsibility of yours taught me a lot about taking care of important things. Emotion. I remember how happy you were when I came back from that trip with my cousins telling all the experiences. It was important for me to have those moments. Directed choice. Do you prefer I come back Sunday night so you have the car Monday morning? Or can I come back Monday morning and leave the tank full? Genuine deadline. The group can only do this specific weekend because after that they have exams and work. See? You're not trying to convince them to lend the car. You're guiding them through a natural mental process where they arrive at the conclusion that it makes sense to lend it. The magic of this formula is that it works with the natural psychology of how we make decisions. It doesn't force anything. It just guides the process respectfully to where you want to go. Practice this sequence in small situations first. Convince a friend to go to a restaurant you want, a family member to watch a series you recommended, a colleague to switch shifts with you. When you master this mechanic, apply it to more important situations. In a month using this formula, you'll become the person who can naturally influence any conversation, and your communication ability will never be the same again.